Welcome to Rom Wills, Money Matters. Many landlords are suffering. And you know what? There's all this stuff we're talking about, all these people getting kicked out or, what they're going to do when eviction moratoriums lift and everything. And, rightfully so, there should be a big concern. But what about the landlords? And I ain't talking about these major corporations that own like large apartment complexes and whatever. They own so much, they making millions, maybe even billions with the property they own. They could probably take the loss. They can just write it off on their business, Indeed, a lot of them might have properties that cater to lower income people like Section 8 places. Yeah, they can do it, but what about that landlord who worked their way? They worked on the job, saved their money, got some rental property, might get a 4-unit, rent out a house. What if they move from one house to another and just, instead of selling it, they just rented it out? What happens? What happens to them? They are catching some trouble. Now, I've seen a couple news stories, like they were talking about this one guy. He was an immigrant and, he worked hard, got his citizenship. He built up, he built up a few homes, was able to rent them out. He was able to send his children to college and everything. But then all of a sudden, everything hit. And now this guy, he can't pay anything because the people who he was renting from, they not paying anything. He said something. I think, what did he say? I think he said he was getting $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month. And then with people not paying the rent, it went down to maybe a few thousand. And he was just trying to get what he could from people. He's suffering because then he has to dip into savings. All of a sudden, those homes, if they have mortgages on them, they have to, you get a situation where they could start, they could be foreclosed on. Or like say hypothetically someone has a situation like that and they own the houses outright, they still get property taxes. There's a bunch of stuff. Or if there's a breakdown, they might not be able to afford to fix anything. They're the ones who are being hurt. Everybody's talking about the renters, but not the landlord. And see, that's kind of personal to me. Now, I don't own property now, but my grandmother had owned property. Now, she was a government worker, but she wasn't like, one of those top government workers where she's making a lot of money. She just managed her money well and was able to get a few homes and some property. And she was renting them out. Now, we didn't have that problem, but there was one time where there was a tenant who refused to pay. And it pretty much took a fire to get them out of the house. Because, yeah. That's a story, but that could have been a problem. Now, what if we had been able to keep those homes and then the people wouldn't be able to pay? See what I'm saying? Because people, I haven't seen now. If there's been something to help those landlords out, please share it in the comments. Please do, seriously, because it's not, since I don't own property, I haven't paid as much attention, and there's possibly some stuff, but I haven't heard of anything. And it's not saying it doesn't exist. I just that's not my focus right now. But I know that definitely there were some landlords catching some trouble. Because think about something. When we talk about business or investment, what's the main investment? Real estate. They do seminars on it. Now, what if somebody say, okay, I'm going to invest in a 4-unit? And I've known several people who've done that. Now, what if they in that 4-unit, and usually when someone's in a 4-unit, they might get one of the units and rent out the other 3. Okay, fine. What happens in a situation where not only they lose their job, but their tenants can't pay, and then they still owe money? And, maybe a bank might be nice about it, but, as soon as the moratoriums lift, they got to pay. Indeed, what's not been said, even with the moratorium on evictions, there were still some people getting evicted. That was limited. That thing was limited only to certain groups, certain like federal groups, from what I understand. Because I actually have a friend who worked in that area helping to prevent evictions, even during the COVID. So, but we're not going to talk about them. We hear enough. I'm thinking about the landlord. Because a lot of times people, people don't think about, okay, what are they going through? Yeah, they got that house, but they still paying a mortgage. They still have to have money to fix stuff because they the ones responsible for any major repairs. They still got to pay property tax. And their money is coming from the renter. But what if the renter can't pay? Or even a situation where the renter says, okay, I'm going to break this lease and leave, but then it might be hard for the landlord to find someone new. It's a lot of stuff. And so many are suffering, which is ironic because you tell people, hey, real estate is a way to make money. Real estate is the way to move up. And it really is. It really is. So it's like, what programs have there been for them? Like I said, there might be some stuff out there. Some of y'all might be landlords. Let me know. And if you landlord are suffering, if you want to share, let me know. Let me know, seriously, because like I said, my grandmother was a landlord, and I know the trouble she went through. Dealing with trifling tenants. It got some stories. That's why I say if I buy something, it's going to be commercial property. Oh, let's think about that too. Hold up. Let's jump into that real quick. Because what if you like I said, the major corporations that own stuff, okay, they all right. But what if you say you're a smaller landlord, say you get maybe one of those real tiny little strip mall type of places, maybe have 3 storefronts or something like that. And, you got some stuff in there, you rent it, you turn it into a commercial space, or you own a house and instead of renting it to a tenant, resident, instead of someone who would live there, somebody's using your place for business. There's a few houses where I live where people are using it for business. All right, say what happens is they can't spend money. They can't pay their bill. Then even a commercial landlord gets in trouble. Now I think the commercial landlord might fare a little bit better as a business and everything. But still, it could still be a problem because there's been many stories of people not getting any government help from the government. Meanwhile, some $1 billion business, so they getting help to the point they were like, man, we feel bad. We just get his money back. But that's the thing, because people have to remember, there's always a general image of landlords being like these evil people. And yeah, you do got some slumlords out there and everything, but most are just regular people who worked very hard to even be in that position. And a lot of them were catching some hell right now. So I want y'all to think about it. And like I said, if somebody knows of any programs where they're helping out landlords, share a link in the description box. Or if you are a landlord and you feel something, you feeling a pinch or something, share if you care to share. All right? So anyway, that's all I got for now. Get back with you later. Peace and blessings. Oops. I keep forgetting where I am. Let's go make that money.